nose just started running randomly.
You better catch it. You look weird without a nose.
Didn't you tell
Voldemort.
me? Didn't you tell me not to do dad jokes, and now here you are doing them? Like,
Hey,
at least
buddy.
I have experience.
Hey,
Hi.
You see how mean she is to me?
She
I can
started it.
only imagine. I'm not going to take a stance on that.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where this week we invited back one of our besties to freestyle with us.
Ooh, stay tuned. I'm Mandy of Antica.
And I'm Karin from Glasgow.
Hey,
Welcome
that sounds
back.
fun.
I really want to be from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Can we like make that a real thing?
Anywhere but here.
Right. Ugh, I hate it here.
I hate it here too because you're about to be mean to me.
Sorry. In our timeline, it is August 15th, and in y'all's timeline, it is August 23rd.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
Uh-uh.
That's real gross.
Mm-mm.
Let's just keep moving along. This week in fangirling, what'd you do?
Not a lot. We've got some stuff going on with my family, so I didn't do a ton this week other than like family stuff. We've had the stomach bug in the house. It's been fun. But I am trucking along on my Throne of Glass reread whenever I take my nieces to school or if I'm cooking or cleaning or doing whatever. I'm listening to the audiobooks. So I'm in the middle of Tower of Dawn, which everybody hates, but especially on the second go round, I'm really enjoying it because now that I know how everybody lands, I don't know, it's just like I can really sit in and enjoy the new characters you meet and Kale's story and like getting more of his background. So I'm really having fun. I put a note that I'll also fist fight you on Kale Westfall. He doesn't deserve the hate he gets. I didn't like him my first read until I got to Tower of Dawn and realized that I'm married to Kale. And now I will fist fight anybody who looks at Kale Westfall sideways. You will catch these hands. I realized last night that I never talked about going to see Taking Back Sunday. And
oh my God.
I know.
What?
I know. I don't know.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
So we took my nieces to see Taking Back Sunday for their first time. Not mine. By a long shot, not Josh's by a long shot. So they got to see some Lazara mic swings where he swings his microphone around his neck while he's singing and he'll just have it like wrapped and then he'll undo it and that man sashays across the stage. And but the coolest thing that happened is we saw them at the Tabernacle in Atlanta, which is like this really old building and it's got like wrap around balconies. It's got like 2 levels. There might be a third way up high, but I love the second floor balcony to the left of the stage where you just like, you look down and you're like right at the stage. I don't have to be in front of the stage. You're getting the perfect angle. Like I think it's cool to be up there. You're not like crowded in people. There's seats. So it was general admission. So we hopped up there and we're watching Citizen the Band play, which was the opener. And my niece like claw grabs my leg and she's like just shaking my leg. And I look over, Adam Lazara has walked out a door right here and is just like watching Citizen play. And of course, my heart stops. I've loved this man since I was 13 years old. Okay. My heart like stops. And so Josh is like, go give him a hug. Go say hi. What? I can't do that. Are you kidding me? No. So yeah, that was cool. They were great as always. A lot of people hate on them live. I will never take that noise somewhere else. We've been trying to have some movie nights with the family. So this week we watched A Quiet Place Day 1, New York City, the day that the aliens from the A Quiet Place movies attack. So this is like the origin story. Lupita Nyong'o plays a terminally ill woman living in a hospice facility. Her friend / nurse kind of convinces her to go on this field trip to a show in the city. She begrudgingly agrees, and as they're leaving the show, the aliens enter the atmosphere and start like crashing into the city and attacking people because they track even the smallest noise and they attack and kill the if it's like a living source of sound, they kill it. If it's a car alarm, they crush it, whatever. Through a series of movie plot events, she meets Eric, who is an English law student who is living in New York City to finish his law degree. Because it's looking like the end of the actual world, they end up staying together. They band power in numbers, whatever. The true star of the movie is Frodo the cat. He's our problematic king. He's problematic because Frodo, my sweet darling, the aliens are blind. This is not the time to run amok and make everything that can make a sound. They are feeding off of the sounds, Frodo. stop this madness. But for those like me, Frodo the cat survives unharmed. Just spoiler, but
Important.
Frodo's fine. This is probably my least favorite A Quiet Place movie so far, which is sad because I love Lupita, I love Joseph Quinn, but there were just some really questionable bits. I'm like, I don't want to say a movie about aliens was unrealistic, but there's inconsistencies. So some character dies because, and I'm not saying that's a major character, someone dies because the fabric of the shirt rips and the aliens can hear it and attack. Another character is stuck underwater and comes above the water and is splashing and gasping for air and is not attacked or killed. And the shirt rip happens inside a building. The water gasping for air screaming happens outside. Just contradictory to the rules that we already have established about A Quiet Place. That kind of took me out of it. Josh said that it felt like they were trying to be more artsy fartsy in this movie than the other two. We still enjoyed it though. It wasn't bad. Okay, so I started Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. So it's a Macbeth reimagining. You've got Lady Rosil. She's got like 6 names in the little well, I don't remember what he calls it, the personae majora or whatever that Shakespeare does. Dramatis personae. So Lady Rosil is betrothed to a Scotsman of all things. She's kind of confident in herself. She knows she's more vicious than he is. She's got this hodgepodge magic that seems I saw one reviewer say it was like Frankenstein's monster magic. Where it's just like pieced together, but like there's also whispers that she's cursed. So she's going like it was very Queen Charlotte, like she's on the way to her wedding when you start the story. So she's ready to go through all of the court politics and play them to her advantage, knowing that she has these secret powers that nobody knows about, but her husband has things up his sleeve too that she didn't expect. And so I've heard great things, I've heard not so great things. I'm excited to keep going and decide things for myself. I remember almost nothing about Macbeth. It's been a long time, and high school lit class.
Yep.
And then today I read How to Piss Off Men by Kyle Prue. It is an anthology of how to destroy the male ego. And they're just very quick little say this, win this. I gave my husband one and he was like, Jesus. It was like, oh, I love your cosplay. Say this to a man wearing a football jersey. And when they say, it's not a cosplay, it's a jersey, say, right, but you're not a football player. Or say, well, he's the referee. He's qualified to make that call. Say that to a man whose team got a bad call.
Do you know how? Okay, I get the spirit of it, but do you know how upset I would be if that was said to me? Because they do make bad calls, okay? I literally witnessed it last night watching baseball.
Oh my God.
But I do love the spirit of that.
Yeah. And then there's like, you have the confidence of a much taller man. And this one is, I thought your voice would be deeper. Say this if you feel like torpedoing a hinge date. And I think there was another one that was like, you smell nicer than I thought you would. And it was like, this will make him feel good for 5 minutes and then bad for the rest of his life. I love it. 10 out of 10, no notes. God. Like I said, it's a very quick read because it's just like, a few sentences a page. But I've been dying for this. I've been following this series on TikTok forever. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. And I think that's all I did this week. I didn't do a whole lot. Okay. I feel like I've talked forever, but yeah. Mm-hmm. What did you do this week?
I also didn't do a whole lot. I'm still readjusting to my new work schedule, so everything's kind of bleh. I did read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. I remember exactly 0 things about Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Yeah.
So I went into it completely like, I don't remember anything. I'm not even 100% sure Macbeth was one of the plays that we read when we did Shakespeare in high school. So it's entirely possible that I've actually never read Macbeth.
I don't know if I read it in high school or if I went and saw it with my mom because we used to do go to plays.
Yeah.
So like, I know I've seen it or read it.
I feel like, when people are like, I don't know XYZ, but it's been so long that I'm like too embarrassed to speak up about it. I feel like that about Macbeth.
Is Macbeth the one with the skull?
Maybe.
I'm gonna Google it while you talk
I
about it
know
because you got.
it's the Scottish play. It's the one that you don't say in a theater, like the name of it in a theater because it's bad luck, right? That's the
No, that's from Hamlet.
Oh, you're right. But
Sorry.
yeah, it is that play, right? It's the bad luck play.
I think so.
Yeah, the
I'm gonna
one
Google that too.
like you don't ever say the name of this play in like a theater because it's bad luck or something. Anyways, that is beside the point.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is. Terrible
It's
accidents, injuries, illnesses,
yeah.
and death while working
So,
on it.
anyways,
Oh
that is
God,
all.
I hope we're not counted as a play
No, no, we're not in a
media.
theater. I think it has to be in a theater.
Okay,
Like
good.
or like where a performance is about to take place.
Okay,
Which this is not a performance. This is us being completely unhinged.
yeah.
Naturally. Okay. Anyways, Lady Macbeth, you talked about it. I don't have much to add. I enjoyed it, but I also am like the least critical person that I know
Yeah,
when it comes to media. So like
you can separate it.
I'm very it takes a lot for me to not enjoy something. Like I can
Yeah,
usually find something to enjoy.
yeah,
I
for sure.
very, very rarely do I rate books under 3 stars. And when I
Yeah,
do, it's a big deal because I
I think
couldn't
I have
find it.
two 1 stars, and I think I've
Yeah.
deleted them from Goodreads because I
Yeah.
don't. I think it's mean, but
Yeah. But
there were
yeah,
like
so
real reasons.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I enjoyed it. There is, it is a reimagining of Macbeth from Lady Macbeth's kind of perspective, and there are some, I guess, fan would you say fantasy? I think it's fantasy elements to it.
Yeah,
There's pieces. It's like paranormal fantasy. I always am never sure what like that fine line is between
when there's
paranormal and fantasy.
witchcraft
Yeah,
and magic, Karen's getting violent.
my coaster stuck to the bottom of my water bottle and fell off after I lifted it up. So it's going well over here.
Sounded like something broke. I was like, oh God, the curse.
It's my coaster's like one of those like it's like a tile, so it's like it's
Oh
heavier.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so when it fell,
Gotcha.
it made a noise. So I don't know why I have a coaster. This thing doesn't. It's very insulated. Oh my God, this is so unhinged. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I
This
enjoyed
is
it.
incoherent. We're on brand.
I had a lot of fun. I when I was reading it, I did think to myself, I don't know that I am smart enough to read Ava Reed's adult books.
The first paragraphs, I was like, this is above my head. Like, I don't,
I'm
can I do a
yeah.
whole book of this?
I truly, truly was like, I do not know that I am smart enough to follow Ava Reed. And I say that with the utmost respect
Yeah.
for their craft.
It's like
I'm the
that
problem.
TikTok sound.
It's
Am
me.
I stupid? Am I dumb? But yeah, no, I get that. And then I also hate the people who are like, you didn't stick to the source code of
The whole point
Shakespeare. Like
it,
Shakespeare wouldn't freaking love that how many hundreds of years later people are still like remixing his work. He'd be like,
right.
yes, girl.
Yes.
Okay. I don't mean girl and like not trying to
You,
disrespect anybody's pronouns, but like he'd be like, yes, get it, go.
girl as like a gender neutral, like
Yeah, as like
everybody.
a yes,
Yeah, yeah.
go,
I
remix it, tell this story.
like to like I think that Shakespeare would be so happy. Like his work has
Honored. Yeah.
endured for hundreds of
Yeah.
years. People are still referencing it. People are still finding things from it and creating more from it. Like that is I feel like one of the highest
Insane.
honors.
Yes.
Like
And
so
I feel like he'd probably be thrilled that he's got a cursed plea
yeah, that's true. That is so true.
too.
I will say I really enjoyed Lady Macbeth. The ending for me personally was, I don't know, kind of anticlimactic, I guess.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I just kind of was hoping there would be more.
Yeah.
So,
My
but
favorite thing so far,
is, oh my God,
the
yes.
naked hardcover.
It's so
Are you
pretty.
kidding? It's
It's so
disgusting. I
pretty.
love it.
It's so bright and beautiful and amazing, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
I am also I'm currently reading Ugly by Kelly Vincent,
Oh, yeah.
which is, I think they're meant to be, it's a series, but I think you can read them as standalones.
Mhm.
And it follows Nick, who is a girl living in Oklahoma, and she is kind of like an outcast. She has one friend, her best friend Sam, and nobody really wants to like get to know her or be friends with her. Everybody is constantly bullying her, you know. She's really down on herself as well. She's like, I'm ugly, I'm fat, blah blah blah. No, why would anybody want to be friends with me? And very insecure and anxious and that kind of thing, which high school, I think we can all relate to that on some level. Like maybe not to the same extent, but like I feel like high school is where you're going to be like
Yeah.
bullying yourself a whole lot more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically everybody is the worst. They call her fat, they call her ugly. A lot of she dresses, she really prefers loose clothing. She prefers no makeup. So, you know, she gets mistaken for a boy a lot. People call her a lesbian as like an insult. It's awful. And I'm not at the end, but it seems like this book is meant to kind of document Nick's journey towards accepting herself and figuring out who she is. And I'm really hoping that she does, because I think that she's awesome. And
Yeah.
I feel like if I went to school with Nick, I'd be like, okay, this is not cool. Y'all need to back the fuck up, and we're gonna be friends, you and I. And she's very like artistic and very creative and all of that. And so midway, like halfway through their, I think it's their senior year, her best friend, her family moves to Glasgow because of her dad's job. And so now Nick is like, oh crap. Like I literally have no friends. I don't
Yeah.
know how to be social. And
Aw.
so, and then there's, I don't know if I would call this the inciting incident because it happens so late in the book, but she does do like an art piece that I thought, in my mind, it looked really cool and I thought it was awesome. Apparently, somebody at the school thought it was a threat of violence, which it had nothing to do with violence in my, like at all. And so she kind of gets forced into therapy. And I will say her parents are so supportive of her and they love her so much and they just want her to be happy.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the school is forcing them to be like, hey, maybe she should go to therapy. But her parents also think that it would be good for her just based
Yeah.
on, you know, her experiences.
The
And so,
situation. Yeah.
right. And so she goes to therapy. Therapist is a man and the worst. And she eventually finds a better therapist for her. And she's starting to get there, I think, and I'm really
Oh,
hoping like, and it for me personally, it's like, oh, I really love this because it's so representative, I think, of the therapy process.
I
Because
was gonna say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't always click with somebody right away.
People
And
think you go to therapy and
mhm.
it's like a immediate solution and you're immediately trust this person, and it's not.
And it's not. And it's not. You have to be able to vibe with the therapist. And if
Yeah.
they don't vibe with you, they can't help you. No matter how many degrees they have, no matter how
Right.
much education they have, they can't help you if
Mhm.
you guys just don't
Some
click.
personalities just don't mix.
Exactly. And so it's really cool to see that on the page because I think we do as a society need to, one, be more like verbal about therapy and mental health and all of that. And two, to show this process. Like it's not just you go to
Yeah.
therapy and you're fixed.
You're
Yay.
fixed. First of all, there's nothing to fix.
Right.
And second of all, they're just teaching you coping things and coping mechanisms and they're
Yep.
teaching you how to help you, but
Yeah.
it's a journey.
So yeah, I'm enjoying watching the journey, and I hope that by the end there is some sort of it, based on the fact that I think that these are meant to be or could be standalones. I think that there will be a satisfactory ending,
Yeah.
but we'll find out. I will say one of the things that Kelly does in this book, and it drives me crazy, but only because I am an adult and not anything on their writing, they've nailed the high schooler voice.
Really?
And it's so irritating because high schoolers are irritating, not because the writing is bad. It's just, I just feel like reading this, it very much reads as a high schooler is talking to me.
Yeah. See, I'll fit right in then because I live with two of them. So like
Yeah.
it'll be like listening to one of them tell a story.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is there. It's just, man, I'm like, where am I right now? Have I gone back in time? Like, this is, and it's the most like, it's the most high school thing ever. Like, I'm enjoying it, but it does also irritate me strictly because I'm like, grow up! But that's the whole point. She's supposed to grow up.
Make your brain finish forming.
Can you hurry up and
Dadgummit.
grow up? So
God.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not done with it, but I'm enjoying it, and I have
Good.
books 2 and 3 ready to go. So I'm excited that I can kind of binge them all at once. And the last thing is, well, not the last thing. Last thing I read. I'm in the middle of reading Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. I really could not tell you what it's about. I started it when I was very sleepy. So I don't remember. I think there's a girl who is she's a siren. She's a siren, and sirens are like supposed to be extinct
Ooh.
in their like society, and so the people in power really, really hate sirens. And so if they found out that she was a siren, she would get murdered or sent away. I don't know.
Ruh-roh.
Again, don't remember. But she has been living and kind of hiding who she is for a very long time, and she has just passed this test. It's like an examination for the kids who are in this. It sounds to me like it's some sort of like military academy training camp kind of thing, and then once you take the test based on your ranking, you get to go into certain positions. And she kicks ass and wins the whole, not wins, but like she is first in her class and gets offered the position of like something like, I don't want to say personal assistant because that sounds like not a great job, but like basically
Yeah.
she has to go follow like the crown prince around and is part
Oh
of her
no.
guard. And this is the worst thing ever because his whole family hates her people, hates sirens. And I mean, that's about as far as I'm at right now, but I'm enjoying it. It's fascinating, it's interesting. I'm really curious. I don't know if this is like an enemies to lovers, but I would love for it to be
It
enemies to
feels
lovers.
like it might
It
be.
feels like it might be, and so I'm
Forbidden romance.
very excited to see. And he is so, she's like so like grumpy, and he's just it's grumpy sunshine. She's very grumpy, and he's just like, hey, let's go party. And she's like, what the fuck? I don't want to hang out with you. I'm only here because I'm supposed to protect you. And he's like, well, I order you to party. And it's just so funny. Like, he is so unserious, and it's hilarious. But she's like super serious, and so it's like,
Love
ah.
it.
And because she's a siren, anytime like water touches her, she gets these urges to murder people.
Oh, oops.
And so she has played it off because I guess in their society, like certain elements can make certain people feel weak. And so she's like,
Mhm.
oh, water makes me weak. So she tries to stay away from it so she doesn't
Yeah.
have this. But she also
Girl,
is
how you
kind of like,
bathe?
she's also kind of like the epitome of I support women's wrongs. Like she will
Yeah.
go out and be like, well, that's a terrible person, and I'm gonna go get rid of them because
Yeah.
I need to satisfy. It's like Dexter,
Yeah.
but a female
like it,
siren.
yeah.
But I think based on the description that I read, eventually it's going to be like the prince is going to be like, oh, we need to investigate these murders. And she's going to be like, oh, yeah, we totally should do that. Definitely was not me. And so that's the vibes I'm getting. So hopefully I will have more to say on that next week.
Next
But
week.
again,
No, you won't, because we don't have a This Week
oh,
in
you're
Fangirling next
right.
week.
You're right. A little
You'll have to
sneak peek.
update us in a few weeks.
A sneak peek for y'all then.
Yeah.
Mandy. Yeah, so I will try not to read it when I am very sleepy so I can properly tell y'all
Yeah.
about
Finish it.
So yeah. And then of course I've been watching Claim to Fame. Last night I was editing the podcast last night as I was watching the new episode. So I was like talking about the week before
Oh my gosh,
while
that's funny.
watching the new week, and so it was very amusing. I guess spoiler alerts, but this podcast episode is coming out a week after this episode, and honestly, I really just care that Casey has seen it, and I know that Casey has seen it, so we're
Yeah.
good. But anyway, spoiler alerts. Danny is not related to Bad Bunny. Very sad to know this because he got sent home last night.
Who was his relative?
Mark Anthony.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, and I really didn't
So
want
what
it.
were the clues?
So his two truths and a lie.
WWE, Grammy.
Yeah, an uncle. So uncle, pro wrestler, and a Grammy. And I was like, dude, I feel like if you're gonna say that, saying pro wrestler and Grammy is such a good way to throw people off if that is
Yeah.
actually like, because you wouldn't say that, but whatever. But
Apparently
anyways,
you would, yeah.
anyways, I'm very sad about it. But
I'm
there's
sorry.
the only girl left in the show is Mackenzie, and she is related to Trace Atkins. Is that a
Yeah.
country star?
Yeah.
He's like 6'6", right?
I don't know.
That's the clue. The clue that gives it away is a 6'6" country star who won The Apprentice. And so it's Trace. Casey says Trace, and I'm like, Trace Atkins. That's the name, right? That's a
Trace
person.
Cyrus?
But anyways, so she is related to Trace.
I'm Googling.
I think it's Trace Atkins. I think that's a.
He is 6'6". Wow.
Okay. So
I had
yes,
no idea.
him.
There's Hosier height.
And so she's adorable. I adore her, but she's low key working with Adam and Hud, I'm mad at because he backstabbed Naomi a couple episodes ago, and Adam's the guy that I really hate this season.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm like, Mackenzie, what are you doing? But she turns out to be a very good liar, because she had everybody thinking that she was related to Blake Shelton, and that's why Danny got sent home. And I'm like,
oops.
No, Danny baby. So yeah, but yeah, I continue to dislike Adam, but we have figured out, well, Casey and I have figured, Casey has figured out who Adam is, and now I know because Casey has told me. He is somehow related to Michael Bolton, and nobody has figured that out yet, and we keep wanting to yell at the screen because we want Adam to go home. I hate him so much. At this point, I just want him to not win. Anybody but Adam.
You're like, anybody but Adam.
That's
I just do not care.
That's exactly what happened last season. Last season, I was like, anybody but Chris. Anybody but Chris. And this season, it's anybody but Adam. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, good times. And yeah, Casey was texting me at the beginning of while we were recording, and I kept seeing things pop up on my screen, and I'm like,
let me check.
But yeah, that was my week.
That was a good week. Do you have a fictional boyfriend this week?
You know what? I'm gonna say I think it's Lysander from Lady Macbeth. They all have so many names.
Yeah, I'm confused by this.
But well, she explains it in the thing. But anyways, because they're like different
languages,
names have different pronunciations or whatever. But it's Lysander, I think. Lysander, the elder son of King Duncan, Prince of Cumberland. I love him. No notes. Yeah. That's all. That's all I got. That's all I got. How about you?
I'm gonna go with Kale Westfall, my little misunderstood boy. He tries so hard. He's got so much internalized trauma that everybody thinks he has to be the captain of the guard and be so tough, and he is just trying his best. And I love Kale. People need to leave that boy alone.
I think I already love him.
Yeah, you're gonna go through a roller coaster with Kale. This isn't a spoiler. This is just
Happy
a funny thing
to me.
that people love to laugh at about him. Selena, who's like the main character of the first few books, tells him she's on her courses, and he jumps up and runs out of the room.
I remember you mentioning this.
It's so funny because he's just like gone. It's my favorite. I die every time I read that. I just die.
Hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, so I love my sweet baby Kale.
Yay.
Oh, and in case you're interested, my fictional girlfriend of the week is Aurora Lake Evans from Canadian Boyfriend. So.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, friends, we're gonna have a fangirl freestyle for the first time in I don't know how long, but we have brought back our good friend Jason B. Dutton, who, as you know, wrote this book. Hey, hold on, I have it right here.
Oh, look, it's right there.
Oh, mine's way up there.
Let's see, I have
right
mine.
He wrote this book in case you forgot how to dance.
It's way up there.
Mandy, you put it on a top shelf. What have you not learned? How's anybody in a wheelchair going to get that book, Mandy?
Well, it's on my autograph shelf. That's where all my autograph books are.
Right. Oh, okay. So you're saying nobody in a wheelchair could get any of your. Oh, okay. All right.
Nobody's allowed to have
it. I'm upstairs.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm upstairs.
No, no. I should
on a
establish that when
position
I
of esteem with my autographs.
that truly means a lot. And I should probably say as a disclaimer that if I start really messing with you, it's an indication that I really like you. So at that point,
Score.
yes, yes. I have to clarify because people start defending. I was like, no, if it wasn't this, it would be something else. Like I would find another reason. But anyway, we all have the book. That's fantastic.
Yes, it's up there.
It's there. So
Awesome,
anyways,
awesome.
We're not talking about the book today, but if you haven't read it, you should go read it. It's excellent. I'm going to make a statement that I believe is true and facts and everybody should believe it, but not a lot of people do, and I'm really annoyed by it. So I would like to know what y'all think.
Oh.
I have a feeling that at least I know Mandy will agree with me. Jason, I don't know your thoughts, so we'll see in a moment. Okay. Everybody ready?
I'm so ready.
My very inflammatory statement here.
Okay, here we go.
Bucky Barnes does not need to appear on screen in Captain America: Brave New World.
Hard agree.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it'd be nice to see him. I kind of miss him, but I don't need to see him.
I don't think it's necessary. I think having Bucky, and as somebody who is secretly married to Sebastian Stan,
I did think about that today.
Who does not know that, but just throwing that out there.
Sure.
I am saying this, okay? And I am believing this. So this, I feel like, carries much weight. I don't think that Bucky needs to be physically in this movie at all. Maybe Sam has a phone call with him at some point so that, I don't know, it can lead into the Thunderbolts.
He still is alive.
He's still hanging out. They're still friends. But he doesn't need to appear on screen for any reason.
So what I actually
end credit.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Like, just let Sam have his damn movie, guys.
I was gonna say, so what you're what I hear you saying is actually that the movie will probably be better if Bucky isn't in it.
Right.
Because Bucky will distract from.
I think so.
Yeah, that's I can get behind that.
I think that was part of I don't want to say gripe, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier was very much about both of their journeys, but I think at the end of the day, like, it also, having Bucky there took away from Sam's moment to shine as the new Captain America. And
I would completely agree with that.
He deserves that moment. He deserves to shine as himself, as Captain America. I mean, this is a black man taking on the mantle of Captain America. He deserves to have his damn moment. And I love Bucky from the bottom of my heart. But that man needs to be doing something else. Okay.
Can we talk about how D23 already stole the moment when they showed the trailer and then immediately were like, by the way, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom.
Oh my God.
Which is a whole thing that I don't know if we need to get into, but
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, no, I would say to stick with the original point for a second, I would say not only does he deserve his moment, but as someone who is very recently well acquainted with the 6 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I would say that he needs it. He needs it for the sake of not even putting his race aside. As a character, he needs it because Sam doesn't have any ability. I mean, not special. He doesn't have a superpower, and he didn't create his suit. He doesn't. I think we need more development of his character so that we follow him as a character. Right now, he's been a great sidekick. Yeah, I enjoy watching him. I think Anthony Mackie does a good job, but I really think they need to give me a compelling reason. Chris Evans, I don't know that he was compelling as a. Being that good kind of hobbles you a little bit, because if he's always doing the right thing, it's not quite as interesting. But with Sam, I mean, well, Chris had the advantage of at least he has the super serum, and he's also noble enough that he's that good a person. They need to come up with something a little more compelling for Sam to glom onto, which I think is going to be what they went after in the series, which is, look, I'm a black man with the stars and the stripes. I'm going to be fighting all these fights that I don't have powers, that I'm doing this because I feel like it's the right thing to do. Like, there's a lot of really compelling stuff to get into, but you're right. The movie's probably, I mean, let's say it's 2 hours long, hopefully, and there's only so much real estate. So yeah, I think it needs to be his film.
I just had a light bulb moment as you were talking, because you're saying how Sam doesn't have any superpowers. He's just a regular guy putting on the suit and doing, his thing. And that is so, like, if you think about it really deeply, that it's so representative of the experience of America. We have Steve Rogers, a white man who has powers, and we have Sam Wilson, a black man who doesn't, and that's in our society.
And he's gonna have to fight battles that
he's
Chris
gonna
Evans
have
would
to
never
fight twice
have.
he's gonna have to fight
Yes.
twice as hard to get half
Right.
as far. Like,
Mhm.
Yes.
and it's so, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb and didn't realize it until right now, but like it's so representative of America as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
The white
There's
man
gonna
has
be
power, the
be
black
not
man
my
doesn't.
captain, not my captain. That's not my captain.
You know what? You
Maybe,
would be
maybe. I
right.
don't know
In the
how I don't know how
movie.
deep
Yeah.
they're going to go with it, but probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be
I
a lot of.
think you're absolutely right. I think it's representative of America. I think they touched on that in the series, but it's yeah, if he doesn't have a power, if he hasn't made his suit, if there has to me there has to be a reason for that character to be, well, they're superheroes, right? What makes him super? And in this case, it's that he chooses to take up that mantle. He's not, I mean, he's military, so he's physically gifted. They showed him doing all the somersaults and fighting people, but there were a few times where he's in that series fighting super soldiers, and I'm going like and they might even want to touch on that. Is like I don't know how, I don't want to use the word qualified, but I would be scared if I just
Right.
had like the flight suit and I'm going up against some super soldier. But
Somebody who
I'm
could
glad he
break
got
my
to
bones,
womp
like
on.
literally pinching
Yeah.
me, you know,
Yeah,
like
glad they
I
womped on the other Captain America, by the way. That guy was ticking me off the whole time. The
yeah.
Oh
Walker
God.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel so bad for Wyatt Russell, the actor, because I will
Yeah.
never be able to watch him in anything and not feel viscerally
Yeah.
hating him. I'm so sorry. I'm sure he's a lovely person, but I just
One would hope.
Look, I
Yeah.
have felt that about Captain America until Sam. So I've always been like,
Oh,
I
really?
hate his
You know-
golly gee
Not really.
attitude.
Yeah.
You know, I
Well,
think
I don't like it.
I think going back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier for a minute, like it is both of their stories, but I think it's mostly Bucky's. I think that series, yes, it
yes.
introduces Sam as Captain America, but I think most of that story, at least, and somebody please do tell me if I'm wrong because I could be wrong, but I feel like
I
it's
doubt it.
Bucky's character development. It introduces Sam, and we get Brave New World will be Sam's character development
Mhm.
and becoming Captain America. Like Bucky was becoming Bucky, not the
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Sam is now going to become Captain America, not Falcon, which
Mhm.
is a whole other thing. I said this on the internet, okay? I said this statement on the internet, and somebody came into somebody quoted me and commented on it, and they're like,
Hmm.
they said something about how Steve had Sam, so therefore Sam should have Bucky, and I'm like, Steve and Sam is Captain America and Falcon.
Yeah.
Sam will have his own Falcon in Joaquin Torres. So what
Oh, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no, it's a false equivalency, and then the man proceeded to delete his comment, so I win.
There you go.
I'm like,
Congratulations.
I'm like, let the little Asian girl tell you about comic books.
No, congratulations. I think we should give that one to you. That was
Yeah.
I
I'm
felt
proud
very
for
powerful
you.
in that
It
moment.
was, yes, as well you should have. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think they introduced, and I felt that watching. I mean, the other thing is we already know Bucky a lot better.
Yeah.
We were introduced to
We've had years
Bucky
with him.
in First Avenger, right? And he has this whole path of, we thought he was dead, he's not, he's evil, no, he's not. And so, but Sam really up until now has existed as Cap's entertaining and
character.
able sidekick, you know, on your left, right? But yeah, so they need to give him ample room to build his thing, which I totally think there's
Yeah.
material to do there. There's always, for me, there's always that scary, like, we love this character, let's see more of this character, and then it turns out that character can't sustain the space they're giving him. I don't think that's the case here. I think he has a lot of story to tell. I don't know where they're going with it specifically.
I think that specific point, I think if they did bring Bucky in, then that would be very much like, we love this character, let's put him in more things, and it would be a detriment to his character to put him in Sam's movie. So
Yeah, and I don't even think
I
I mean, they probably decided to do Falcon and Winter Soldier off the strength of their chemistry, like in Civil War, and
I think
what was the other?
they needed their moment. I mean, I think everybody could see that they had a very buddy cop, like, hilarious relationship, and they wanted to expand on that. In addition to introducing Bucky's therapy and Sam becoming Captain America. So I think you know.
I mean, I a potentially hot take from me would be that I liked how they had them both in the same show and dealt with their own stuff in the same show. But I think the buddy cop stuff in the show didn't work as well.
Because I don't remember it being like a funny.
Yeah.
They had a couple of funny moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Because
wasn't.
the strength of that
Yeah.
is the line, like when they're in when Cap kisses Sharon and they have the little back and forth in the car, like that. Those are moments that you laugh real hard at because they work as moments. But then if you take those two
Right.
characters and you try to do, we're going to do like an hour of that, then not all those jokes land. And yeah,
Right.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should try to stretch that out. I did like seeing. I'd forgotten how much Sharon is in Falcon and Winter Soldier. She was fun. I would be intrigued if they brought her back because they did stuff with her that they've
Oh,
never
they're
really
gonna
tied
have
off.
to.
But
Yeah, they're gonna have to bring her back. She's got a plot line.
it's got some stuff going on. Who knows?
Sure.
I don't know what the negotiations and available actors or not, or what in the world they're going to do next. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Bucky doesn't need to be in it. I'm just hoping it's a good movie. I'm a little I'm a little scared, but we'll see.
I'm
You know who I
my
want to stop seeing in movies?
Who's that?
The multiverse.
Uh,
I'm
fair
so
enough.
tired of the multiverse. I'm
Fair
so
enough.
tired of it. I
I
feel like it's ruined things.
I like the multiverse in that it provides a way. I mean, the way they did it in Daredevil and introduced all it's a very meta device, right? It allows
Yeah.
us to see other portrayals of characters. So the only time I really liked it was Spider-Man No Way Home, but that had to do entirely
That was the
with,
only one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that had to do entirely with my relationship with Spider-Man and not
Yeah. Agree.
not as a plot device. I was just so happy
I
that they were
like-
bringing everybody in.
I've never been so feral in a theater.
I
As I was.
I
When
like
all-
the
when
concept-
they all three
that
were
might
there.
have to
I
be
was
the,
like-
the title of the episode.
We
I've
took
never-
my
I've never been
nieces
so feral
and
in a
their
theater.
friends, and like, we picked them up. They had like a half day at school. We picked them up. We went and saw it.
Yeah.
And Josh and I are like jumping up, screaming in the theater, and these kids are like,
Yeah.
They don't get
"Why
it.
are
Yeah.
they yelling? Because these guys showed up." And it's like,
But
Oh
that's
my
not
God.
the I mean, to your point, that's not the strength of the multiverse plot device.
no,
That's your relationship with 20 years of movies.
right?
So I would agree with you where, like, let's have characters die with like real stakes and not like, well, hey, we brought them back through the doppelganger
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, it gets a little
I like
problematic.
the
Old,
concept
weird.
of it as an idea, but I
I
don't
just
think
feel like
it's
it flopped.
it hasn't been executed well.
Yeah.
But
And I think Deadpool even made a joke about it. Like,
he did. Yeah.
Oh, we've done it too much. We've overdid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think
Yeah.
I do think I like the idea of it. I think it could, if it's done well, it could be
Loki
really
was getting
good.
there.
I think it
feel.
could get there, but because of the way that they've pushed projects out so quickly in the past few years, that it suffered. I think that
Yeah.
I get
plot line
triggered even
really,
thinking
really
about Multiverse of Madness.
really suffered.
Because
Um,
the multiverse wasn't even there.
no, it
That's
wasn't.
true. Oh, fair
It
enough.
wasn't.
What-
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
it wasn't.
Because you wanted the acronym to be MOM because you released it on Mother's Day. I hate it.
I'll tell you that mattered a lot to me, Mandy. That was when I saw the preview. I was like, wow, no, I didn't even think about that until just now.
I'm like, that's what it's a movie about motherhood. Get out of here.
Who
hate
said
it.
that?
There's
Who said it was a
there's
movie about
no
motherhood?
There's
Well, it's Wanda
Yeah.
having lost her
oh.
children, and it
Oh,
makes her.
I guess.
You know,
but,
and it came out Mother's Day
mo-
weekend.
What mother is going to harm other children? What?
That's a really good
what?
take on that.
Hate,
actually,
hate. I hated that movie.
I will
hated
say
it so
the-
much.
So dirty.
the one thing I enjoyed about that movie, well, there were two things I enjoyed. One is that Rachel McAdams was in it, and the other thing
Oh
I
yeah,
enjoyed.
always love
The
her.
other thing she's my favorite. And the other thing I enjoyed about it was almost had very little to do with the movie itself. It was the one Marvel movie that I thought was unique on account of its director. It was about as far in one
Yeah.
direction as you
Yeah.
could get stylistically, which I liked. I like the fact that like Raimi did it, and it's like, oh, this feels different from every other
Yeah,
Marvel movie.
that's
But having
true.
said that, I haven't watched it since I saw it the first time. I'm not a big horror movie guy. I'm not even really a huge Doctor Strange. I feel like he works better for me as part of the ensemble and not so much
Yeah,
just his
standalone.
own thing.
Listen,
Despite
the only
Rachel
reason I
McAdams
went
being the-
because Elizabeth Olsen was there. Let's
Yeah,
Oh,
say
and
well,
I was
hey, I
so
mean, you know.
afraid to tell Karen I hated it when we recorded the
like,
next
dude,
week,
I
and she didn't like it either. So I was like,
yeah.
I feel
felt
like
bad
that
that
says a lot. Just like how I'm like, Bucky shouldn't be in this movie. I only went to this movie because of Elizabeth Olsen, and I didn't enjoy it. So I feel like that says a lot about the movie.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're a mature, sophisticated lady, and your fandom isn't dependent on one person. You can make statements on
Yeah.
the movies themselves. So your loyalty isn't unconditional. That's good.
yeah,
But I feel like that Listen, this is me inflating myself a little bit, but I feel
Here
like
we
my
go.
opinion matters a little bit more because I love them so much.
Oh yeah. No, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
As
I'm like,
somebody,
listen,
yeah.
as somebody who is very biased, here is my unbiased opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been a fan of Robert Downey Jr. since the 90s, and I saw the Doctor Doom announcement and went,
Huh?
like,
Well,
I
it's
don't.
because they're trying to hurt us because now we have to
Oh,
watch Tom Holland and
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. and they had this wonderful relationship and
Mm-hmm.
now it's
yeah.
going to be
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. Like
that's
he's
all it
coming
is.
back as Spidey, and they're going to do that with Tom Holland. I don't know anything about it.
I mean,
I mean, that's just what I
that's the thought.
assume.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Yeah,
the
that's
thought.
the assumption is
It
that
would
they're
be
trying
the
to put that in our faces.
that would be the most and you know what? I would really they said that he's going to be playing Victor Von Doom, but like in the comics Tony Stark himself does become
I did see.
Doctor
Yeah,
Doom.
I read up on
Yeah.
So
that a little
like
bit.
I'm very curious if that is the truth or if they are trying
How
to
they're
throw
going to
us
spin
off.
it. Yeah.
And if they and I mean because there's a really great opportunity to make it really 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 hurt if it's actually a Tony variant
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
back.
You guys and your enthusiasm for pain. I don't know about
It
it's
just
gonna be great. It's gonna destroy us, so we won't be
it's
able to.
just
Function again.
I need to feel something to feel alive, okay?
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
dead inside, so if
Oh,
I feel
wow.
pain,
That's
Oh,
why I'm
wow.
trying to get you to read Throne of Glass, Karen, because it's
Oh,
all
dear
pain.
God.
It's all pain.
listen, I just recently relived through your niece the pain of Serpent and Dove, so I don't need that quite yet, okay?
She
Okay.
came down here. I thought she was going to start cussing. Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? You knew.
You
And
knew.
you let me read
let
this
me.
anyway.
Wow.
So
Oh,
painful.
wow.
I'm like vicariously living through that pain. I'm like, no, I can't
She,
have that much pain.
I
right
let
now.
my niece read Serpent and Dove and Blood and Honey.
Okay.
She's in Gods and Monsters now. The most
Yeah.
painful character death I've ever survived happens
Ever.
in Blood
Oh,
and
wow.
Honey.
Honey.
And
Okay.
It's I will
didn't tell her
never
that was
recover.
coming.
Never.
And so
ever
she was a
recover.
little upset.
Oh,
She was a little
Lord.
upset with me. She got a little mad.
I have a weird relationship with those sorts of things because I realize objectively, if you have a story where absolutely nothing goes wrong, you don't have a
It's not a
story, right?
Yeah.
That's some of the objection I have with like, say, your typical Hallmark movie where it's like there wasn't even a conflict
Right.
here. They just like
Right.
they're just sort of sitting in the coffee shop. But on the other hand, like I am a huge wuss when it comes to like, well, why did that person have to like I feel like if it
That is
serves the
this.
plot.
Why?
Okay. All right.
Why?
It's so painful.
Well, there are a
Why
couple
did it
like
have to happen?
did you guys watch the Vampire Diaries at all?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
listen, I watched the first several seasons multiple times because I kept watching it, binging and catching up, and then falling off, and then forgetting by the time I wanted to watch it again what happened, so I had to restart. So I don't know.
Sounds
I
like a
will
struggle.
never
Finish the
forgive
series.
them for he was your first love. I intend to be your last. And then doing nothing.
And then doing nothing with it.
You
Yeah.
do nothing with that? You
So-
give us that
It is
hope and then you
so-
do nothing?
Ugh.
So I had a friend who campaigned literally for like the better part of a decade. She was like, you've got to watch Vampire Diaries. I was like, I don't know about that. And I finally, for her sake, watched it. And I really liked it for a number of reasons. But I bring it up because there were 2 or 3 examples of like, there is no reason for you to have these characters end up in this horrible way. Like there are a
Right.
couple of things like Bonnie and I can't remember the guy,
Bonnie
the good
is
guy,
so
the blonde
disrespected.
guy that always gets the short end of the stick. Like the guy that kind of liked Elena for a
Matt.
little, Matt. So
Matt.
Bonnie and Matt in particular, I was like, I get it if it moves the story along. I get it if it's a consequence of who they are. I get it if they did something wrong. I get it if it's thematically what you're trying to do. But if you just
They didn't deserve any of it.
after like 8 years or whatever it was, if you just send them up the like I got really mad a couple of times because
Yeah.
they literally didn't deserve it, and there was no reason in my mind. There wasn't any reason to do it thematically. So I will watch a character die and be okay with it unless I just feel like you're just being mean. Like they didn't,
Yeah.
you know. I need to live in a world where good things kind of happen to good people and bad things happen to
Right.
bad people, and you know, eventually.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Eventually. Well,
That's
I say all of this like I'm not a Klaus girly through and through.
Hey, I like Klaus. I like
We
Klaus. It took me a minute.
we're
I like his brother better. I forget his brother's
Josh is
name.
an Elijah guy. Yeah, it's
Yeah, Elijah.
Elijah.
I thought Elijah was so
We
cool.
we
Oh,
live like a couple of hours from Covington, which is where they film it. Also, occasionally we'll go up there just for like a
yeah.
day. And I always have to remind him, like, we're a Klaus household. Because people are always like, "Are you Team Damon or Team Stefan?" And it's like, no, we're with the
We're Klaus.
Michaelsons.
Don't
And
even worry about the
actually,
Damon and Stefan. Yeah.
I would probably choose Rebecca over all of them. She is my like, I
Oh,
love her so
yeah.
much. I love her so
Yeah.
much. She can do no wrong. I
She's
like
pretty
Karin was
awesome.
saying earlier on this episode, I support women's rights and I support this woman's wrongs. Like you do whatever.
She was
Fine with
great.
you.
She was great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to watch the whole thing. I was irritated at some of the back and forth with the relationships, but I think they were supposed to irritate
Yeah.
me. It was amazing. I actually by the time the series was done, I was a huge Kat Graham fan, so I got a couple of cameos from her. You know what cameo is?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Where you
cool.
yeah, so I got a couple of cameos from her, and I mentioned that I was working on this book, and she came back with like the sweetest, most detailed, like
Oh.
7-minute video, like answering my
Oh
questions and
my gosh.
encouraging me with the book and all this stuff. So now Kat Graham's like one of my favorite people in the world, and so builds my indignation over Bonnie. I'm like, how dare you?
Yes. How could you do this?
So
Oh.
Bonnie,
anyway,
I get the most upset about when it comes to
yeah,
Vampire Diaries.
there was literally, I mean, forget about the fact that she goes through so much crap in what, 8 seasons,
Yeah.
but they literally give her the love of her life or whatever, kill him like 10 minutes later, and she's a witch. She's like an all-powerful witch, and somehow she can't fix this.
Yeah.
She
Can't do
literally can bring
anything.
Elena back, but she can't, like, he's doomed to just sort of be there as a, I'm getting all worked up now. Boy.
I know. I know. It was kind of recently. It's been maybe a couple of months ago. I posted like I kind of want to binge the Vampire Diaries, but then I
Yeah.
kind of want to skip to like he was your first love. I intend to be your loss because I don't
Yes.
want to go through all the pain.
Yeah.
Like I
No, I get it.
don't want to do all the pain
I
that
get
they
it.
put you
But
through. And the
I mean,
books are
there's
the
the
same
reward
but
there.
different.
Oh, okay. I haven't read the
Like
books at all.
not the same story at all, but like the same
Same
just
tone or
up and
the just back
down,
up and
back and
down,
forth,
back. Okay.
weird choices that don't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, but to I guess 3 or 4 points ago, it is rewarding after you've gone through all that pain to sort of, if they get their triumph or they get the happily ever after, where with such high stakes they fight through something. I love that. Like, I'm
Mhm.
willing to go on that ride, but I feel like there has to be, unless you're watching Breaking Bad, it shouldn't, the end of it shouldn't be
Right.
like they went through all this and now they're dead and thanks for joining us for like 8 years. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
I invested so much time in you.
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah.
do this to me?
Yeah.
Oh boy, be
Oh
careful with
man.
that show. Ooh, I would sooner get into Vampire Diaries again than Breaking Bad. That
Yeah.
It's
at
yeah.
least Vampire Diaries has moments of joy. Breaking Bad's just like
It's just
nothing
bad.
good will ever
And then
happen
it's
ever
sad.
again.
And then
Yeah.
it's bad.
Well,
What's
it's
happening
a
here?
it's a very specific. I think it started with The Sopranos and then went on with Mad Men and Breaking Bad and all these different shows to a certain extent. It's exactly the kind of show I don't like, specifically because I need to have somebody to root for and I need to have good
Yeah.
things happen to them. So the fact that I was into Breaking Bad was kind of an anomaly, but I never made it past the pilot of Mad Men for that reason. It's like I'm
It's
not really
awful.
into a character study of people doing bad things. There is a very Hallmark part of me, which explains the book I wrote. It's like I watch media and experience media to feel better. If I feel pain along the way, that's okay. If it's a journey, like if
Yeah.
I have to watch
That's why
Infinity War to get to
romance is
Endgame,
so
but
great.
it is. That's exactly
That's
why.
Yeah.
why
That's
romance
exactly
is
why.
so great
Yes.
because at the end of the day, when you read a romance book, you get to the end and it's a happy ending.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy and it's great. You go through all the emotions. It's pain,
Yes.
it's heartbreak, it's all of that, but at the end of the book, you can breathe a sigh of relief and be like, "Okay, I feel better.
Yeah.
I have had
Yes.
enough emotions, and now I get to be happy."
I could not agree more. I actually wrote to Lauren Kung Jessen about Red String Theory, and I said one of the things I loved so much about that book was she created an actual conflict that was rooted in, what was going on with the characters, And I didn't know how she was going to get him out of it, but I knew that she would. And I feel like that is my favorite part of a romance plot, is like, here's an actual problem. It's not just, and
Right.
I don't
It's
want
like,
to, I'm not going to
it's like
denigrate any specific sort of romance, but when I get the opposite of that is like a problem that could be solved with like a 10-second conversation that they really could have
hate
had, you know,
miscommunication where they're
that
just
kind of
the
like,
thing.
best. One of my favorites is How to End a Love Story.
oh
Who's that
yeah,
by?
It's Yulin Kwang. It's her debut,
Looking for paper.
and the premise is is like she was an author, right? And she wrote these
Okay.
books, and it's being adapted to the screen.
right.
And she ends up going and working in the writer's room, but the one of the writers in the room is the guy who was driving the car when her sister ran into the
Oh.
street on purpose.
Yeah, her sister used his car
him.
to commit suicide.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so the romance is between these two, and you think the whole time, like, how the hell is,
Like, I
Yeah.
hate you forever if you
there is
are,
no
if
way.
it's not even your fault, but if you were driving and you take my sister from me,
I'm
Yeah.
that's
sorry.
it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
But, like, so you
I
spend
can
the whole-
empathize, but I can't
spend the
be
whole time
around you.
trying to be like, how because
How are they gonna
it's a
do this?
romance, so you know at the end they're gonna
Yeah.
get together, they're gonna have a happy ending, but like,
Yeah.
how do you get there? And that's
Yeah.
what was so good about it, because you're like stressing out the whole time, like, what?
Yeah, because you're like, how do you come back from that? Even though, again, it wasn't his fault. He was
Right.
a teenager driving home, and
Yeah.
somebody stepped out in front of his car at night.
Listen,
I'm reading that now. That's
Oh,
amazing. Like
it's
that's my
beautiful. It's
it's-
incredible.
it's incredible.
that's
But yeah,
awesome. That's
it's
my favorite
the-
kind of story. Yeah.
It's the epitome of like stress and emotion and a roller
Yeah.
coaster, and trying to figure out like, how are they going to get to the end of this, and it's so satisfying when they do, and then you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is why romance is so amazing.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, the stress and the stress and the emotion and the conflict are all, you're sort of investing if you know that it's going to work out eventually. Like the back to Marvel, when I saw Infinity War, I mean, I don't know that anybody hasn't already seen Infinity War and Endgame, but you get to the end
Right.
of Infinity War and I'm like, I wasn't mad because of what, well, I was a little mad because of what happened, but I was more mad that I'd have to wait a year. But I never doubted for a second that eventually they'd fix this. Right. And that's the kind of journey I like going on, where it's like, give me a real problem with real
Yeah.
stakes and get me deep into it and then get me back out, which
We
is
gotta get out.
is a difficult thing to do as a writer. But as a
Right.
reader, it's incredibly rewarding when you know that, like, I'm in good hands. I think Emily Henry did that to me with Book Lovers, was another one with like,
Mhm.
I don't know how they're going to fix this, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride. Like, you know, so all sorts of good stuff.
Trust Emily Henry.
Oh yeah.
She I don't know if you guys know of her. Yeah, she's written a couple. She's kind of popular now.
You know.
She knows what she's doing.
She's all right.
She's pretty cool, I guess.
I keep reading articles. I'm like, every single one has a film adaptation. Every single one now has a movie in development.
I'm not
I would
surprised.
really love Abby Jimenez to take the same trajectory as Emily Henry has, because I think her writing is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she touches on so many things, and it's like, it's not just the silly little rom-com, which I'm not saying bad things. I love silly little rom-coms. I think they're the best. But
Yes.
like, it goes so much deeper, and I'm just like, I want to see this on the screen. We need more mental health representation in visual media, and I think Abby Jimenez books could be that, and I want it to be. Romance is hope.
Oh yeah.
It's at times there's so many unrealistic situations, but at the end of the day, you're like, it gives you hope that even though it's an unrealistic situation, something could happen like that for you.
Yes.
I love romance. I love romance so much.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not biased or anything as a romance writer, but you know, I love romance so much. Okay, it has been over an hour.
Oh my.
When did that happen? We should let you go, and we'll finish our other stuff.
Sure. Well, I'm always happy to talk to you guys. This has been a huge pleasure, and hopefully you can, make something serviceable out of this.
If you think this is the last time, I've got bad news.
Oh no, I would. Are you kidding me? I would hang out with you guys. I'm not even kidding. I would hang out with you guys every week. Like this is great. I've been looking forward to. I've literally been looking forward to this. I'll let you know when. I mean, I don't know when the next book deal is coming down the pike, but hopefully sooner rather than later. So hopefully I'll get to come back on here and promo another book at some point.
You will.
Yeah.
I will look forward to it.
We're ready. We're ready for it.
Awesome. And I'm ready to read yours.
I can't wait.
Finish it. I gotta
That'd
finish
be
it.
great. I'm willing to hurt. That's how excited I am. I know those
Mandy's
deaths are coming.
Wait, hold on
Mandy's
here.
will hurt. Mine will be fine. Mine will just
Okay.
be tension,
Yeah, I'm good.
tension and
I'll
emotions.
survive. It'll be okay.
It'll be fine. All right, we'll let you go because it's
All
been
right.
quite some time, but we'll
Well,
talk
it's
to you
been
soon.
wonderful. Okay,
I'll
I'll talk
talk
to you
to you
soon. You guys have a
soon.
great night.
You
Bye.
Bye.
too. Bye. I love Jason so much.
So much. So
That's
much.
so my face hurts.
Oh my god. Okay, I
Now
think
we
it's
have
time for
announcements. God, we got
announcements.
a double hitter next week.
We do. It's going to be very exciting. And the beginning of this episode, when I'm trying to talk about things that I've read that I don't remember very well, is going to make a lot more sense right now. Because next week, friends, we will have Ava Reed, author of Lady Macbeth, here to talk about Lady Macbeth. I am so freaking excited.
I know.
Like, I did not think that we would get Ava Reed, and we did, and
We did. Here we
this
are.
is so cool. And we will also have Kelly Vincent, who is the
I was
author
looking for my
of
ugliest.
who is the author
Up
of
here.
the Art of Being Ugly series, book 1 being Ugly, which I was talking about, book 2 is Uglier, and book 3, which we will be talking about, is Ugliest. I'm
Yay!
so excited. It's going to be so much fun to talk to both of them. I can't wait. Everybody
It's
get
neither.
excited because it's going to be so
Woo!
fun. So fun. I can't wait. And I think that's all our announcements.
Oh yeah. Now let's do a spiel.
Yes, we're going to speed through this. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. Please follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Please visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. It's a lot of fun there. And if you are interested in early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, or bonus content, you can subscribe to our Patreon. Head to theincoherentfangirl.com/Patreon. I do want to mention
Yeah.
Patreon is, well, Apple is implementing something to Patreon, and Patreon is going to have to implement it for the
You have to
creators.
comply.
So, therefore, if you have a device that uses iOS as its operating system, specifically an iPhone, if you subscribe or purchase anything through Patreon, the Patreon app on your iPhone, then it will be a higher charge.
Yeah.
So we recommend going to a web browser, going to patreon.com and finding us or whoever you want to subscribe or purchase from to do any of those transactions so that you will not incur
to pay this weird app charge.
Yeah. In case you don't know, apps that are listed in the App Store are charged like something like 30% to be there. So usually those apps will put that cost onto the consumer. And so if you use the app, then you're going to pay that extra charge. But if you do it from the web browser, you won't. And
You
it'll
don't
be
have
fine.
to.
And this only applies
But then
to
you can go use it in the app, right? Once you've paid for it on the web browser, you can use the app.
You can use the app. You just can't do anything
Don't make a
monetary
purchase
in
through the app.
Exactly. Which is why, like, for example, Amazon doesn't allow you to purchase digital content on their apps because they don't want to pay that fee. Anyways, it only applies to new subscriptions and new purchases starting, I believe, November 2024. So you have a couple of months. If you're on the fence about joining something and you like don't want to do the hassle of going to the web browser and want to do it in your app, you can do that now. But otherwise, just a heads up, we didn't want to raise our prices, but obviously Patreon is going to do what Patreon does, and so here we are. So just know you can still get it for the prices that we have listed on the web browser.
Yeah.
And we would prefer that you do that because that means that you are saving.
Stick it to the man.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, theincoherentfangirl.com/Patreon. You can subscribe there for not an inflated price. And get all of those goodies. And speaking of goodies, you can shop our merch store. If you go to theincoherentfangirl.com/shop, there's lots of cute stuff there. And I feel like I need to order more stuff because they're so cute and I don't have everything yet. So gotta do that.
I know. I need to place an order.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, design ideas, or you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of that.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. In our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all.
Yes.
And one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please give us your words. You know how we love your words. Give it all
Don't
to
give us
us.
don't give us numbers, give us
No.
words.
Words, please, words.
You
No
send us
numbers.
math problems, we will cry and throw up. I saw something the
Exactly.
other day that said if you asked me to reduce a fraction right now, I would start shaking and throw up. I was like, this is the most relatable thing I've ever
Mood.
read.
Mood.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my god. She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you followed the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties because we love them. Head over to herecomesthenerd.com, use code fangirl, and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Then you're going to head over to onceuponabookclub.com. We've got 2 codes. You can't stack them. You can use whichever one you want. We'll love you either way. If you use code Karin10 or Mandy10, you'll get 10% off. You just got to make sure you spell Karin right or you'll get no percent off and we will judge you.
Much judgment. We will also judge you if you don't head over and visit our next internet bestie, Ms. Amber D. Lewis, who we love and adore so much. Head to amberdlewis.com. You're going to add like 10 of everything to your cart because you're going to need extras. And
Yeah.
then you're going to use code fangirl10 to get 10% off of that 10 of everything. And everybody wins. You're saving money. It's great.
It's science. That's what that is. And last but not least, we're going to go support the show husband. We've got Searchers, the Paranormal Mind, and Beacon TV now. It's out in the world. Our streaming platform for paranormal, true crime, and horror content. I've been helping scout, and I'm customer service. So if you email with an issue, you're talking to me. Somebody emailed today and we're like, to whom it may concern, Josh, Mike, Shane. And I was like, none of the above.
None of those.
I didn't say that. I just, none of the above.
None of those.
I've got a coupon code for both Searchers and Beacon now. Both are going to be fangirl10. So if you go to searchersbelieve.com/shop, there's merch there designed by yours truly. You'll get 10% off there. If you go to streambeacontv.com and subscribe to Beacon, which is a streaming platform, like I said, for true crime, paranormal, horror, and use code fangirl10 there, you'll get 10% off of your subscription. So, I mean, go subscribe, support the show husband. We've been getting some really good ideas for things coming in the production future that we're really excited about.
Yay! And please remember that if you are subscribed to us on Patreon, Patreon now allows us to give recommendations. So all of our friends who are also on Patreon are listed from our Patreon page. So you are able to subscribe to them right from there as well. We've got Here Comes the Nerd, Amber D. Lewis, Grimoire T, and Searchers all in one space.
Right
Plus us,
there.
Obviously. So
us, obviously. Yeah.
that
was the Incoherent
Fangirl. Thanks for
Thank
listening.
you.
We love y'all.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.